What do you feel the most important areas of an elite player must focus on if she wants to compete at the highest level? And I would say probably speed of play, which is a pretty generic term, but what I mean by that is how quickly you can perform a given task on the soccer field, which can mean a lot of different things, and then halfway it's a lot of different things. First is going to be the technical side. You actually have that skill set. So that means whether that's a Troy versus different touches on the ball, which is going to then also you're going to bring in the physical component. How quickly can you do that physically? Does that skill set that you need perform your overall speed, size, all those different things can play into it. And then the tactical side of that. Are you making that decision? You recognize it in a quickly fashion, and then can you then choose the right decision to make and execute it? And in that too is going to be the mental side of that, your composure on the ball, which is a big side of that, obviously. When others around you are stressing out and not making great decisions, are you calm? Are you focused to make those right decisions? And so, as we look at players and we separate our players even within our team, the players that consistently make better decisions and also first have to also possess the skill set to execute whatever task they have to do on the soccer field. And how quickly they can do it, those are going to be our highest performing players.
My question is, out of all the college recruiting events that this country has to offer for the girls, which one do you feel is the most valuable to the elite player and why? Just generally, I think it's important to find an event that would pair your team up with similar competition. So a little bit of it depends on the level of your team. You don't want to go to an event that necessarily is above the level of your ability because your team necessarily isn't going to be able to showcase itself very well. Generally speaking, for me personally, what I prefer is equal competition, that being the highest level that it can be. And I also prefer the National Championship Series, which obviously starts at the state level, the State Cup, and regionals, and onto the nationals. The reason why, for me to evaluate at that sort of event is important is those games have a different feel to them. Those games are a little bit more like college soccer games. And for those of you, I'm assuming most of you have played in those, State Cup feels a little bit different because of the consequences. Okay? If you drop a game, you may not advance out of your pool. Okay? If you lose, you may not get to regional. The same sort of thing, there's reward. If you beat a high-level team in regional, there's a chance you get out of your pool and you go on and potentially advance from regionals to nationals. So those games have a different feel competition-wise because of that. And so I think those level of games and that type of environment kind of mirror what a college competitive environment's like. And so it's important for us to evaluate players in that realm as often as we can.
All right, what are the biggest weaknesses you find in the typical incoming player? Well, I think there's a couple things that need to be understood. When you come in to play at the college level, you're going to be playing against players that have 3 years experience on you at the college level. So what are we talking about here? We're talking about levels of fitness, performance of play, consistency of play, just the basic understanding of the competition and that every game counts towards a possible conference championship, possibility of going to the NCAA tournament, possibility of hosting an NCAA tournament game. They all count. I think having that basic understanding of the importance of every game is important right away. The next part, how do you translate that into training? With the way that college works, we have limited numbers of hours that we can train. It's slammed into certain time periods of the year. We can't waste time with that, and we don't want our players to do that either. So having yourself prepared on your own so that when you show up, you're ready to go so you don't waste your teammates' time or anybody else's. I think that's very important. And then you don't waste your own time. I think the next part of it is the physical aspect, physical performance, endurance, anaerobic capacity, all these terms that you'll be finding out if you don't know already. being able to perform like Kelly was talking about earlier, tasks as quickly as you can, repetitively over the course of a long period of time, and do it at the best that you can. Can you do that against players that have 3 years more experience than you do? That's a question that you need to ask yourself. Okay? The other thing that the weakness is, and I think freshmen have to fight through time management skills, travel, making sure that everything off the field is done and taken care of, so when they step onto the field, they're ready to go. They're not worrying about anything else. Class, home, mom, dad, being away from home, whatever it may be. All of that is taken care of. So having that time management, those skills up to date and ready to go. Last thing that I would say is just understanding the whole picture. Again, you're walking onto a college campus where there are players that are 3 years older than you are. They understand what's going on a little better than you do as far as the process is concerned. That doesn't mean that you need to be a freshman and be meek and just kind of absorb it all. You can go out there and perform as hard as you want to. Okay? Understand that. Whether it doesn't matter what school that you go to, if you're there and you've been recruited to play there, go out there and make a difference for that team. You don't have to wait until your sophomore year.
So can you elaborate a little bit? You obviously had a big, I was there preseason, a lot of freshmen, new class, new set of players coming from high school. What sorts of things did you have to deal with those freshmen that made it difficult or easy on them?
Yeah, I'll tell you, a lot of it's time management. You get into preseason, if you talk about the fitness and those types of things. But if you're in preseason, you do soccer. You wake up, you eat, you play soccer. You take a nap, you get up, you play soccer. So those, that's what you're used to doing. It's when you start getting into your classes, and it's not necessarily time management like you have so much things to do. A lot of times you have a lot of free time on your hands, and you don't know how to exactly find time to say, okay, well, I need to study at this time. You get a lot of time on your hands in college. You might only have 2 classes a day. You might have 3 hours off before you go to practice. It's how do you judge? How do you work that time? I know for me, if I have something going every hour of the day, I'm fine. I can time manage my stuff. It's when I have time off. That was our biggest thing of trying to find that adjustment. A lot of players. I think we all fairly national here. Being away from home was another one. Adjustment of. Everybody's like, oh, I'm ready to get away from mom and dad. Oh my gosh, I miss mom and dad so much. And it's the truth. I mean, those types of things are play a part of it. Being a little bit of homesick, not having somebody to do your laundry, cook your meals, and those types of things. So it is. The time management one, I think, was the biggest. 14 of our 18 players were freshmen. So we. So I tell like a little bit of my team management stuff.
And I just to add one thing, and I think from a soccer standpoint, it's having the ability and confidence in yourself to be adaptable. Your new environment won't be the same as the environment you're coming from, no matter where you go to school. And that may be a simple thing, like one of our freshmen had a really difficult time. She was an outside back, and she grew up in a club environment where they played with 3 in the back, and they always forced everything outside. Well, we train with 4 in the back, and we try to funnel things central. It's just the way that we play. And it really took a long, long time for her to have confidence in that change. Quite honestly, the change wasn't that big of a deal, but her kind of unwillingness to be flexible early on or to buy into it made it a really, really big thing. And there's those sorts of things that will come up all over the field.
Most of you all are very serious soccer players, and so you have a certain level of fitness already. You're planning on going into your college team fit and ready to go. My experience has been that the freshmen come in, some will come in as fit as the rest of the team returning, but normally not quite. It's just a different level, different mentality. The returning players, they know how important coming into the season fit is because there's so much stuff that you got to get done in the preseason. And if you're behind from the beginning, you're being pushed and just involves, and now you're more susceptible to injury, and you want to go hard, and so it just kind of snowballs. So the returning players, most, not all, but most will come in very fit and they're ready to go. The freshmen, if you can get that mentality of I'm a returning player. I'm going to work harder than I've ever worked in that summer before you come in. It'll really pay dividends. Because remember, as you get fatigued, so does your mind, so does your skills. And so the time when you want to be playing at your best, the time when you want to start showing your skills, your new teammates, your new coaches, and that kind of stuff, you don't want fitness to be working against you. So that would be something I think is really worthwhile. I don't know if we'll see that. They come in fit, but not like the returning players. They usually have a notch.
I think the biggest suggestion I can make is that most of us have summer programs. And we encourage all our freshmen coming in. Usually there's a first and second session to those. Because at least coming into the second session, which is right before we start. We're all in the same boat. We pretty much start in August, and about 2 weeks later, we'll play our first match. So we have 2 weeks worth of throw in all kinds of new personalities and get them all on the same page and play. So there's obviously a freshman's a big class every year. You're going to have freshman players. So just getting them to mix into that group, and again, what we've all touched on, the social aspects of making that transition from high school and being in a college world, away from your parents if you're on the road, all those different things. So major factors, the fitness side of it, we want to see all touch base on. Those are all important things. And rules-wise, actually during that summertime, you can work with strength coaches, the university strength coach. Now you cannot work with us, we cannot train you guys, but you can work with the strength coach. So takes one big part of that equation out, which is the fitness side, which when we start preseason, okay, you can work out as much as you want, but fitness takes so long. We can't do anything about that. Now, the teaching aspect and how quickly you grasp maybe some of the new tactical decision-making or style of play or even a new position, that can be sped up a little bit. But, fitness, human body can only get fit so fast. So if you come in and you're not fit, obviously that slows down that whole process. So that's something I would really encourage you as you guys go into your college careers is to look at possibly going in that summer and taking a session. Plus, you also get to knock out some credits, which, as you start your freshman year and you already can knock out 6 credits, and hopefully during the summer you're really focusing on that. You're already in, hopefully a good solid GPA. Takes a little bit of pressure off of that first semester. We do travel a lot. You're ending in the first season that fall, and we're traveling. That's our championship season, so we're on the road quite a bit, so you're going to be in school, so that's tough academically as well.
My question is, what things should players and parents be most focused on when making their holiday decision? And there's a lot of things I think that will be important depending on what each individual is looking for. But I would say, first and foremost, is find the college that has the academic programs, academic interest that you think you have at that time. Sometimes you may be very focused and already know that. Some you may be general. If you are focused, find the schools that you're in your net that you cast. Find the schools that have the programs that you're interested in, and then find the soccer programs that will meet your needs as well. Because remember, you are interviewing the schools and the coaches and the players as much as they are scouting you. You should be, because ultimately, if you decide to go there, you want it to be a good decision. So the idea from our point of view is we don't want any surprises, and you don't want any surprises either. And so that process, very deliberate, very thorough. Academically, what's the program I want to go to, or what I want to study, and is that the level of what I'm looking for? Exactly. If you're really good in the health sciences, because you want to be a doctor. And so those things are important. And then there's soccer programs that you will have a ball at, and you find those two things to make them fit. Once you've done that, and you kind of, that is your semi-big list, and now you're starting to really narrow it down. That's when I talk about that interview process. I really encourage you to think about that. That when you come in on an unofficial visit or an official visit, you're not there just answering the coach's questions or things like that. You should be interviewing them, and finding the players and talking to them, because you'll get a feel for whether that's going to be the place you want to be at. What I tell them is, if you got injured and you can no longer play, is this the school you want to be at? Because it could happen. I hope not, but it could happen. And so you should be thinking about that. If soccer was taken off the table, but I still want to be here, this is the school I want to go to. And you'll find that. You'll find the soccer program in the school that is a good match for you on both sides. And then, and I don't want to steal Chip's thunder, but I'll just make a comment about as you get in your choosing. Next thing is going to be motivational fit. And An easy way to think about it, if you have a sheet of paper, just make a little cross there, and a sheet of paper. Put like on the top of the plus sign. Put like, and then don't like. Put a lot, and a little. And what you'll find, so now you've got 4 quadrants. And start thinking about, at that location, at that school, will I be playing a lot right away, or will I be working my way? So all those different things. Is it close to home? Is it far from home? Is it just the different things that are important to you? You can plot them on that little graph, and you'll find things that happen a lot that you like, things that happen a lot that you don't like, things that happen a little that you like, and the last one would be things happen a little that you don't like. Well, each one of those can be motivating or demotivating or frustrating or whatever. And you don't think that's important until when you're in the middle of the season and you're under a lot of stress and whatever, those things become really important. And you want to really thought those things through. So it's a really simple thing to do. You just make that little plus sign, plot it out, think about your school, put a school in each one, and it'll become very apparent to you, which is going to be a good motivation.
I think the only thing that I would add, and this kind of combines the two, there is a lot of extra time during certain parts and time of the year that if you do not like the university in and of itself, it will be tough for you, and usually performance suffers. Soccer performance will suffer if you don't like the school that you're at. So it has to be a good fit all the way around. School, soccer, everything outside of soccer and school. Can school provide that for you? Can the town that you're in provide that for you? Those are some of the questions that you need to be asking.
I've got a big question, so I'll break them up here. What sort of things will help a player looking to play in an expensive private school such as $45,000? I think that's maybe why I got that. One answer: score 35 goals a year. Pay for it all. And I'm joking. That's part of it, actually. The best thing that you can do is have good grades, because that's less money that I have to give you out of my athletic scholarships that I can take academically. And I think that's here to the state school as well. I guess that might be the same.
Can you talk a little bit on that? Can you talk a little bit about how that works with regards to, like, if you are a certain percentile in your class, or if you have ACT score, how that relates to money going into the whole deal?
Well, each school is going to be a little different, so that's, you can ask the coaches and they should be able to answer those. But the NCAA also has guidelines for accountable aid, and I might be wrong with it, saying different for if you want. I think it's a 3.5, was it the top 20% of your class, or some sort of. Yeah, you can accept the money, but it counts against us. So like, if you don't have it, one of those three, your academic money counts against us. So you can have, you can be offered academic money, but what I mean it counts against you is if you have over that. So if you have like a 3.7 score over 100, or you're in the top 20%, I might come up with the percentage, I'm sorry if I do. We can give you all the academic aid we want, and it doesn't count against us. So let's say you have a 3.3, a 24, and you're in the top half. That if I gave you academic money, it would actually count against me. So your scholarship, say I gave you $10,000, and the academic scholarship was $10,000. Hope I'm doing this right. I wasn't very good at math. That $10,000 is have a good grade to count against me, so now I have to give you $20,000. Okay. And then the way you get past that is if you have a 3.3 GPA. So once you get a 3.3, that doesn't count against us. In fact, I have a kid who's on it right now. But if she ever drops below the 3.3, if I'm saying it wrong, please tell me, the money counts against me again. So that can really hurt us. We don't take a lot of chances if you're not accountable later. And I know that I just threw a bunch at you there. It's a little goofy. We did it with one kid, and we really usually don't try to do that. So, but your grades, get a good test score, get a good GPA. Can't always affect your class rank, but if you have those things, you'll probably have your class rank. Good grades, it's a lot easier to recruit you, get you in school, and do those types of things. And like I said, it helped us go get other players since we don't have to dip out of our athletic money as much. Anything else on you guys?
Like for us, for in-state students, we have what's called the Regent Scholarship. We have us at UNL, UNK, and here. I believe the number is 29. If you get 29 or higher on your ACT, you can receive 135 credit hours free. So that does not count against us. When you're applying for a school, if you, especially for us, this is the way it works, if you get academic money, okay, that does not count against us. But if there's some sort of, and that could be if you're Rotary or whoever it is, go out and look for those scholarships. They're out there to be had. But if there's any sort of athletic money, even if it comes from some sort of booster from your high school, that will count against us. So that's kind of how that works. So get a great score on your ACT, have a great GPA, have a great class rank, and that will earn you a lot of tuition.
Just to explain the counting against this, is there's an NCAA limit to the number of scholarships you can have in the program. So that's why it's if you have recruits that have good academics and they're getting a lot of academic money and it doesn't fall into the thing where it doesn't count against it, now you're able, that frees up your athletic budget. You can so your number of scholarships is allowed to 14 total. So 14. So that's so then your roster now gives you a lot of flexibility. Flexibility gives you more money. And academic money, the misnomer, there's a ton more academic money at the universities than there is athletic. So like our school, which is an NCAA Division III, that's all we offer of academic scholarships. But it would be the same at any institution. There's much more scholarship money academically than there is athletically. And when you come in as an athlete with both of those, again, the coaches like that because not only are you a great soccer player, you will help them, but it really helps them with their scholarship budget.
Maybe actually elaborate on that. If I'm looking at two similar players in terms of on the field, and one has some academic money they can apply, that's going to allow me to possibly go get another player or a better player somewhere else, which obviously is going to help me out too. So that makes that particular player more attractive. So that's why even for us, a state school, the academics do play a role. They really do.
Like for us this last year in our last recruiting class, we had 3 kids that had the Regent Scholarship. So we didn't have to pay tuition money on 3 of those kids. So for us, their scholarship from us can go towards their housing. And then what else do they really have to pay? So if you can bring that whole package, that's extremely important for all of us at any level.
And, I mean, we're all looking, if you're dedicated in your grades, you're probably going to be dedicated in your soccer. And let's be at the end of the day, you're all coming to all of us, and we want to see you graduate from college. That's why, at the end of the day, that's why I think we all do this. It's a great way, it's a great living, it's a great job. We want you to come and graduate. That's what we're proud of, when we can say we've graduated this many players, and we were successful doing it. So that's great. And 35 points. What are the benefits, in your opinion, in choosing a private school or a public one? I don't know. I guess I'll use me as an example. I went to a school, small private. Actually, Marcus and I went to college together, so and I probably answered.
He's telling me every day at practice.
He was better than me, so I had to kick him.
I progressively got faster as well.
So for me, and I'll answer this for Marcus as well. We needed a small school environment that the professors knew who we were, so they knew if we missed class or we went, we never missed. But if we would have missed class, so it just needed that help and that guidance. And I mean, honestly, I probably wasn't, still. I asked my wife, I'm still not real mature, but my maturity level, I just needed somebody to still kind of say, hey, this is how, let me help you here, let me put in extra work, let me do this types of things. All right? Some people don't need that. Some people don't want that. Some people can go and sit in a classroom that's 4 times bigger than this, and that's the best fit for them. For me, I couldn't have done it. There's no way that I would have done it. But for other people, they like a little more of that independence, and they want to have that. They can do it in the big setting and different types of things. So I don't know. And I think maybe Mike said it. It's about a fit. What fits you? If you want to have the big time college football game on a Saturday and the basketball, and it's a cool feeling around a college campus. Then a small private's probably not fit for you because we don't have those types of things, but others do. So it's all about you personally fitting to what you need. And I mean by what you need is what's going to get you that degree, what's going to help you be successful for the next step in life. Is it a small private? Maybe. Is it a big? Is it? I mean, KU, how many people are there? Yeah, is it that? Maybe. But you don't get caught up in, I like being 2 miles from the beach, so I'm going to win. Or don't get caught up in Ball Gown Fieldhouse because it's an awesome place to go see a basketball game and you think that's it. You have to decide what's best for you. Do I need that extra professor's help? Do I not? You know, it's what fits you, not what fits your teammate because 2 of you want to be best friends and go through all that. Not what fits mom and dad because they graduated from this school and this and that. It's what fits you. Okay, and one side of athlete, Scott, what are you looking for? And I think I already said it. We want somebody who's dedicated to their academics. We want somebody who's dedicated to their athletics. And I think personally, I want somebody who's so proud to be a part of that program that that's something that they have for the rest of their life. And I was joking about Marcus and I go to school together, and we went to a small NAI school, but we're very proud that we played there. Always going to be proud I played there. Some of my best friends now that I have are people I played with in college, and those types of things. So we want somebody who's not only excited, but we want somebody proud to be there. Somebody's proud to wear the whatever school you're from, patch or jersey or whatever it is. That's what we want. Good students that love the game, that are proud to be part of the program.
Good comment on the private, public, and sometimes that's going to be a difference in class sizes or different personality feel for the campus, but that could be true in these programs too, especially once you get in your upper division classes. They're going to get smaller anyway. So even if you were at a very large institution where they had large classes, they'll get smaller as you become a sophomore or senior. But they may even have small classes in the freshman year too. That's where you just have to do your homework. And again, some people thrive, like they said, in big classes. Other people will use small classes. But the other thing I would ask you to think about is, because this will affect private and public, is the role and relationship of cost. Price tag, ultimate tag. So once they told you, hey, this is what scholarship versus scholarship I'm going to offer you. You know what maybe academic money you have, and you're kind of looking at this is what the price tag is. My child right now, if they were looking at a school, I'd say, okay, here's the go no go price. If it's above that, we just can't do it. It's not even on the table, and that's going to be different for everybody. And so we have that go no go price, and that's good. And you have other things too. Like, do they even have soccer offers? That's go no go opportunity. Do they have whatever is a go no go? I mean, you will not change your mind on it. And then once you've done that, now you've got past that. Then treat it just as one variable. It could be an important variable because cost is a reality, but just treat it as one because I tell you, the things like the class size, the things like your the close proximity to family or whatever other things that were important to you, those become very important. Playing time becomes very important when all of a sudden you may have made a decision, right? It's getting a little bit more money here, but I didn't get to play. Some people that would be fine, other people that would be very frustrating. So, then at that point, just treat it as one of the variables. You can weight it, make it more important than another one, but just treat it. And when you've got all your variables, you've got all your different schools, you can kind of see how they pan out. And then this is what I asked the kids that are coming here to do. And I said, look, once you've done that, you've got your 3 schools. If you start changing your numbers, what do I mean by that? So I got school A in location, one's very close, one's very far, or whatever, I give it a score or whatever. And I do that, and you get an end score. That's an analytical way of doing things. It's a very objective way. If you start wanting to change your scores, so once you find out on paper which one you should be going to, and you're going, you know what, it's not that far, and I changed my score because I'm trying now to get the answer I want to get. And I would encourage you to listen to that. That's your gut, that's your heart, that something is telling you there's something about that school that even though something is about you really want the answer to be in that school. And really discern on that, really look at that. So it's but again, all those things, it's probably the biggest decision that you will make in this part of your life. And and it doesn't mean it has to be permanent, but we want it to be the best one. Whether you don't come to Wesleyan because you did this and it took you somewhere else, that's okay. We want it to be the right